Is Prince George already stepping into the crown's shadow? What happened inside Buckingham Palace shocked everyone and quietly signaled a turning point for the royal family. In a moment layered with history and legacy, 11-year-old Prince George walked confidently into the spotlight, not just as a child, but as a future king in the making. With the weight of tradition resting on his young shoulders, he stepped into a royal duty that carried more meaning than most ever expected. The occasion? A deeply emotional celebration of the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe Day. But this wasn't just a public appearance. This was a defining moment, and George met it with the grace, poise, and quiet strength of someone far beyond his years. Alongside his parents, Prince William and Princess Catherine, and his grandparents, King Charles and Queen Camilla, George joined a special tea party held in the grand marble hall of Buckingham Palace. But it wasn't just tea and pleasantries. The room was filled with heroes, World War II veterans, many over 100 years old, gathered not just to reminisce, but to pass the torch. As memories filled the air, laughter, tears, clinking teacups, George moved from table to table, shaking hands, listening intently, asking questions that showed a maturity that surprised even royal aides. He wasn't there to perform. He was there to learn, to connect, and to honor. One of the most powerful moments of the entire day came when George sat beside Alfred Littlefield, a 101-year-old veteran who had stormed the beaches of Normandy. George leaned in and asked, "What was it like when you were coming in?" The answer was stark. Pretty awful. But Alfred's next words pierced deeper than anyone expected. Looking directly at George, he said, "It's very important you are here today. It's days like these that we should use to talk about things like this, so the younger generation can understand." In that moment, George wasn't just a boy in a blazer. He became a symbol, a bridge between the past and the future. And with one sentence from a veteran, the day took on a gravity that stunned those watching. Prince William watched with pride. Princess Catherine stood by, glowing with quiet emotion. You could see it in her eyes. This was more than just a royal engagement. This was her son stepping into the legacy. At one point, Catherine guided George to meet Charles Auburn, a 99-year-old artilleryman who had served across Europe and the Middle East. George saw faded photos of Sherman tanks and asked, "Were they hard to operate?" It must have been very tough with the weather. The question was simple, but the meaning behind it was profound. He wasn't just curious, he was absorbing the weight of sacrifice. King Charles, overhearing the conversation, turned to Catherine and said with a proud smile, "You've got a nice-looking boy there. You're going to have to keep an eye on him." Catherine smiled warmly, the kind of smile that says more than words ever could. Elsewhere in the hall, George met 98-year-old codebreaker Ruth Bourne and Navy fireman Doug G. Hyde, 99, living legends whose stories are slowly fading from public memory. But for one day, through George's wide-eyed wonder and respectful questions, their stories came alive again. Earlier, the veterans had gathered on the palace terrace to the sound of the Royal Marines Band and a tri-service guard of honor. Inside, under bunting crafted from recycled royal estate fabrics, they were served sausage rolls, cakes, scones, and quiche, the humble comforts of wartime Britain. But nothing about the day felt ordinary. As the event unfolded, so too did a deeper narrative, one that hadn't been spoken aloud, but was impossible to ignore. With King Charles and Princess Catherine both recovering from recent health challenges, the future of the monarchy is already being quietly shaped. Prince William is stepping forward. And now, so is Prince George. This VE Day commemoration wasn't just about honoring the past. It was about signaling the future. George's presence wasn't symbolic. It was deliberate, and it resonated across the room. He wasn't just there to smile for the cameras. He was there to listen, to feel, to understand. And in doing so, he became something more than a royal child. He became a vessel for memory, a quiet participant in one of the most moving chapters of modern royal history. As the tea party came to a close, something lingered in the air. A feeling, a realization, that the next generation of royals isn't just coming, it's already here. In a year filled with uncertainty, this single day at Buckingham Palace felt like a chapter from a living fairy tale, rich with sacrifice, strength, and hope. And at the center of it all stood Prince George, respectful, compassionate, and quietly carrying the crown's legacy into the future. If this moment moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories from inside the royal family. What did you think of Prince George's debut? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.